This is why Formula One cars can go from perfect grip to violent spin in less time than it takes you to blink. Modern Formula One machinery generates enough downforce to stick to a ceiling at speed, corners at forces that would make fighter pilots reach for a sick bag, and runs on tyres designed to operate in a window so narrow that exceeding it by 2 degrees means you are a passenger. Yet the fastest drivers on Earth routinely get caught out by cars that give zero warning before snapping sideways. So what is actually happening in that fraction of a second when grip just vanishes? And why did the regulations designed to fix racing actually make this problem worse? By the end of this, you will understand Formula One physics better than most people in the paddock. Modern Formula One cars operate on multiple knife edges at once: aerodynamic, mechanical, and thermal. Exceed any single limit, and you trigger a cascading failure that happens faster than human reaction time allows. Understanding why these cars snap means understanding 3 systems that all reach their breaking point at the same moment. Downforce sits at the center of everything, and the relationship between speed and grip is not what most people assume. The force increases with the square of velocity, meaning twice the speed gives you 4 times the downforce. Around 150 kilometers per hour, a modern Formula One car produces enough downforce to equal its own weight of roughly 798 kilograms. That number explodes at maximum speed to between 2,400 and 3,200 kilograms of force, 4 times what the car actually weighs. This exponential relationship explains why small speed changes cause massive grip variations drivers cannot anticipate. A gust of wind, a bump in the track, entering another car's turbulent wake. Any of these alter downforce faster than your brain processes what is happening. F1 tyres achieve peak grip at roughly 5 to 6 degrees of slip angle, the difference between where the tyre points and where it actually travels. Road car tyres lose grip gradually, giving you time to feel the slide and correct. F1 tyres fall off a cliff, exceed the optimal slip angle by even 1 or 2 degrees, and you have initiated a rapid loss of grip, a decline that the car's physics will amplify rather than help you recover. Ground effect is where current cars become genuinely treacherous. Since 2022, Formula One cars generate 60 to 65% of their total downforce from the floor alone, using venturi tunnels that accelerate air and create a low-pressure zone that sucks the car toward the track. Running closer to the ground makes this system more efficient, and teams discovered optimal ride heights sat much lower than anyone anticipated. Nicholas Tombazis from the FIA admitted that the fact the optimum moved so much lower was a miss in the 2022 regulations. Front ride heights sit between 20 and 30 millimeters, rears run 35 to 55 millimeters, and the floor skid block can only wear 1 millimeter during an entire race before disqualification. Within these tolerances, the downforce to ride height relationship is exponential, meaning a 5 to 10 millimeter change causes massive downforce variations mid-corner. When ride height drops too low, airflow through those venturi tunnels chokes and stalls, and downforce does not decline gradually, it vanishes almost instantaneously. The car springs upward, airflow reattaches, and downforce returns, creating the porpoising that plagued 2022. Teams solved the bouncing but could not solve the fundamental sensitivity, keeping these cars millimeters from aerodynamic disaster at all times. Formula One tried ground effect before, and history should have been a warning. Lotus pioneered the technology between 1977 and 1983 after Peter Wright accidentally discovered the phenomenon during wind tunnel testing. Mario Andretti described the Lotus 79 as feeling painted to the road, generating 4.5 G of cornering force with 65% of downforce from the underfloor. That technology proved deadly. Patrick Depailler died in 1980, Gilles Villeneuve in 1982, and Didier Pironi's career ended that same year. When ground effect gets disrupted, cars lose massive downforce instantaneously and sometimes become airborne. Ground effect was banned after 1982, and flat-bottom floors were mandated for decades. The FIA brought ground effect back to fix dirty air that made wheel-to-wheel racing nearly impossible. Before 2022, cars lost up to 47% of downforce when running 10 meters behind another car. Ross Brawn said that with the current car, 2 car lengths behind, you lose 50% of performance. Initial simulations projected just 18% loss at 10 meters. Reality turned out dramatically different. By 2025, cars showed a 35% loss of downforce at 10 meters, more than double the 2022 baseline. Teams could not raise their cars to improve stability without sacrificing lap time, so they kept chasing the edge. July 2022, at the French Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc led until lap 18 when turn 11 produced a snap of oversteer that sent him into the barriers, costing 25 points. He said he probably put a wheel somewhere dirty, and the snap was a bit of a weird one. Dust on the racing line triggered complete loss of control. In November 2023, during practice in Abu Dhabi, Carlos Sainz encountered dirty air from a car ahead. Snap oversteer sent him spinning twice into the barriers, and that brought out a red flag for 22 minutes. In Austin 2024, George Russell in qualifying and Lewis Hamilton in the race crashed in an identical way at turn 19 on consecutive days. Both drivers described snap oversteer. The repeatability suggested specific conditions were triggering floor stall that neither driver could anticipate. Hamilton called the 2022 to 2025 generation probably the worst he has driven, saying there is not a single thing he will miss about these cars. Mercedes explained that it is the way he wants to attack a corner, and when he does that, the car can snap into oversteer. Most of their work went toward giving him a car where his attacking style would not break away and catch him by surprise. Leclerc captured the core problem when he said that at the moment he is getting into a corner, he has zero idea whether he is going to have huge understeer or huge oversteer. He described the Ferrari as understeery yet snappy, which sounds contradictory but captures exactly how these cars behave. You push through understeer until suddenly the rear lets go with no warning. Ferrari's solution involved deliberately introducing understeer for predictability, but that cost lap time. Adrian Newey explained why solving this remains difficult. The thing about bouncing is that it is a multi-dimensional problem, the aerodynamic shape coupled with suspension and bodywork stiffness, and many other factors. Red Bull anticipated porpoising based on the 1980s experience and focused development accordingly, while rivals got caught off guard. The fundamental issue comes down to feedback loops. Normal cars operate in negative feedback, where physics help you recover when grip fades. Formula One cars operate in positive feedback, where once any system exceeds its limit, physics work against recovery. Loss of downforce reduces tyre load, pushing tyres past peak slip angle, dropping grip, increasing rotation, increasing slip angle further, and causing more grip loss. The snap happens because multiple cliff edges get exceeded at once, and instead of dampening out, each failure amplifies the next. Road cars avoid this because soft suspension absorbs disturbances gradually, progressive tyres have flatter grip peaks, minimal aerodynamic sensitivity means surface changes do not radically alter grip, and stability systems intervene before limits are reached. Formula One cars run rock-hard suspension to maintain the aerodynamic platform, use sharp peaked tyres that maximize grip at the expense of predictability, depend on floor aero providing over 60% of grip, and operate with zero traction control. George Russell said he struggled to adapt in 2022. He explained it is not in his nature to drive these cars the way he has to drive them. He had to relearn skills he did not know he would need to drive a Formula One car. The 2026 regulations will partially retreat from ground effect, with shorter Venturi tunnels and active aerodynamics to manage these characteristics. Now you understand what happens in that fraction of a second when a Formula One car goes from perfect grip to a violent spin. Multiple systems hit multiple cliffs at once, and the physics amplify failure instead of correcting it. These cars snap because engineers built them to exist at the absolute edge of what is physically possible, and edges are where things fall off.